Okay, now we are going live.
Okay.
Yes, we are live now. Okay. So let me check if we are live. Yeah, I think we are live. Yes. Okay. So hi. Can we just confirm? Can you just confirm, Sudhendra, that we are audible or not?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're audible. Am I audible?
Yeah. Can you just open up YouTube and verify that you are audible?
Okay. Let me check. Should I enable from my end also? Let's say
No,
if
no, no.
that.
You can go and check on my channel if you are
Okay.
audible or not there. Let me see.
Uh, yeah, you can just share the link.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are audible.
Okay.
Okay, so welcome Sudhendra. This is actually our this is my first podcast, right? So basically, let me basically start with what I am trying to do and what is the motto of this podcast, right? So I am starting this podcast series where what we want to do, what I want to do is that I want to basically understand that what are the different challenges which are there when you start your career as a software developer and when you basically spend some time maybe 6 months and one year because being basically I we both have started our career at the same time and what I have felt that once you start your career there are some because we are basically directly jumping from the college days to the industry and the industry behave in a certain way and right which we are not familiar earlier, right? Maybe how much, no matter how many times you have, how much internship experience you have, when you start your role full time, we have to go through a lot of process, right? Be it basically the job insecurity or the disbelief for people like you who are coming from basically a tier 3 company or tier 3 college where there is a very little exposure, there is always some kind of self doubt or the belief that whether you will be able to cope up with the pressure, whether you will be able to basically match the standard of the company, the work culture, the stress and the communications, right? So what I want that first please introduce yourself and then you can basically explain your journey, that how you landed up in the Go Comment, what are the challenges you faced in that process. Then we will start with the what are the challenges you faced in the your organization.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks also for this podcast. Okay. So my name is Sudhendra Kumar Singh, and I am a team lead at GoComet, and it's been 2 years as a full stack developer. So the story begins when I got my first internship at Brigview Studios. It just lasted for a month, and I got to know some things um, I was basically there as a UI developer, and I got to know about the technologies which is currently used in web. And after going to the internship, I got to learn about certain things which are going in the industry, and I started learning React and other frameworks. And I got into coding just where I learned these things. And my first full time company, the GoComet, I got from Coding Ninjas only. Okay, and so I was basically a front end developer over there for the beginning of 3 months, and after that I was promoted as a team lead, and I was working as a full stack developer.
Right.
That was the basic track which I was.
Right. So tell me, once you when you joined Go Comet, right, and that was your first job. So what is the feeling? What you felt like initial 1 or 2 months? What is the feeling like? Did you notice any kind of difference? Because coming from a college life to moving towards a corporate life, did you find anything, any difference, any challenges first getting? getting used to of the culture that the corporate here. I'm not talking especially about the go combat. I'm talking about basically, yeah, I'm talking about your experience here. We can be much more generic here, that okay, what are the challenges that you face in the very beginning during your initial 1 or 2 month of your career at go combat.
Okay, so this one is bit interesting because in the college, when I just started learning about the technologies, so it felt like after a job, I have the only thing I have to do is code, and code. So I was thinking that. But when I got in a company and even when I was onboarded, so I have to go through the business requirements, the product, and the code was a bit later, a month later. So which I had to work, and that was a bit. I was a bit thinking like why I'm going through all these, like what's the purpose?
Right.
So and like if you are not knowing the purpose of like you won't put the efforts, right? But because you are just unaware. Okay, so I was supposed to put what's going with me. So this was the first challenge I faced. The thing is, the college is like the environment. If you say is a kind of friendly, everyone seems to be more friendly over there, and the chilling and all those things. But when you get to a company and in fact a startup, so you see that people are working, and although they are nice to you, but it's not always that they have time. Okay, so let's jump on a call or something else. So the meetings were sounding a bit formal rather than being that friendly. It's not about the person or something. It's just the part of work which we had. So this was the second challenge I was facing.
Right, right. Yes, I can totally understand you, because generally when we were in college, we have this fun environment that okay, we have our groups and we are pretty much tied towards it. We really tend to enjoy the life. We are pretty much informal, but yeah, when we are in a corporate life, obviously we need to be professional, and during the initial days, we can feel like that. Right. So I want to add one more point in this thing, right? Because when you joined Go Comet, I think that it was during the corona times, right? We were basically, I think we even I and you, we are the basically the bunch of people or the batch of people who didn't get a chance to directly basically work in from the office, right? We were basically onboarded virtually, and we have been working with this organization remotely, right? So when for me it was like that, okay, when you are in a college, you when you do internship, you basically okay, you basically yeah, basically sometimes you crave for basically working from the office. You want to basically see your future like that. But here basically complete opposite of that. You are working from there, you are basically talking to your teammates through online, through the these teammates, you have never seen them. And I think for example, in my scenario, in my first organization, it happens that after around working with around 8 or 9 months, I got to see the faces of my teammates after that, right? It was very interesting. So, does that working remotely, does that basically
Yeah.
created any kind of challenges which you felt was very much unique to you?
Yeah, definitely. So, and it happens more. It hits more when you are a fresher. Okay,
Right.
so you just don't know like what you are going to experience when you join a company, and the connection that would have built if you met your colleagues in person, that's a totally different thing. So first thing is that if they are able to communicate through you or not, and working and see, one thing is for sure, like working remotely, and if you're just staying somewhere else, it's like kind of just you're working and no life within that, and like you just talk to people, and everything relates to work. That's it. So that was the basic challenge, and the thing which you could understand in a week, it takes like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get completely hang on, because even though you have meetings and all those, but you don't get to connect them directly. Just think they are a bit of a stranger until unless you meet someone,
Right.
right? Even though you are you are using social media platforms, but yeah, that's the feeling. That's the feeling.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's an interesting point actually. That yes.
And like addition to that, like you have lots of expectation, like you have certain plans. Okay, so just I will go into office. I have to work with people, and the seniors told us that if your friends get placed where you are, it's just kind of a good scenario. You get help from your friends, and the main point is, if you can't connect with the people, if you don't understand what their personality is, what they are in person, it's really awkward to ask for help. You
Right.
just start getting in the self judgment. Okay, so is this a good question to ask? Is that the person, he or she is going to react, and um, how do I have to talk to the manager? So that's are the some challenges which I faced when I joined.
Yes, right. Absolutely. A very good point you basically raised here is that during the initial period of basically when you start our career, during the initial period, we basically whenever you join, in fact, this happens to every new organization, and it happens more to when you are fresher. Is that when you are getting used to the tax system, the basically the code base, understanding the tax system, how the company works, and all like that, you tend to have a lot of questions in your mind. And when you are working in your first ticket, you are going to supposed to ask a lot more questions. So I think there is a one part is that sometimes you ask that, okay, is this a good question or not? Whether I should ask it or not? Whether I should be able to understand this much or not? Whether I am going with the right pace or not? Right? This kind of things happens, and sometimes this happens more when you are basically when you have a bit of self doubt, or maybe you are thinking much more about that. Whether am I asking too much questions, or am I asking? I mean, what is the expectation from the organization? Right? This is the one thing that I feel that happens, right? And everyone basically goes through it. So yeah, now tell me that how because you have basically that I think you have basically come from a very humble background, right? And
Yeah.
coming from a very tier 3 college, does it ever happen that you have some kind of disbelief, the self disbelief that or maybe which the disbelief has led to your job insecurity, that okay, I need to perform well, or whether I'm capable of doing this job or not? Is there any kind of this thinking that ever come to your mind?
Yeah, obviously. So it's like when you're trying to get a job, you just prepare well. Like if you get the placement, if you get that job, then obviously you are capable of you're capable for that position, right? But when you join the company, you just use see your colleagues, or if you see your senior, you just start comparing. Like even though you don't want to, but they are working with you, right? So they are just they perform better, and some are like some have joined 6 months before, and they know more about the tech stack, even though they are at the same role. So you just start thinking, and you don't know about the tech stack, what's going on. So that's what it feel for 2 months. Okay, so am I going to work this? Am I going to build a page? Because the point is, whatever we have done as a part of our maybe the assignments, or the projects, the self-made projects, and they're more sort of a basic idea we have got for that one. But when you see a major product with a product company selling, that's a totally different scenario. That
Right.
there is a scalability and lot of files going through, and people are performing seamlessly. Like you see, they write so efficient code, and you just get in the self doubt. Okay, so am I able to survive this company, or
Right.
they are going to kick me off? I'm just designing a button, and I have already faced 3 4 conflicts in this house. So that's what the doubt you get in. So that's one of the challenges.
Yeah, yeah, I can totally feel you here. That even in my first organization, I think we were that was a fintech company, and when I saw their code base, I was overwhelmed with it. And when I see people working on the new features, I used to basically watch through all the Jira events. So I would go to the Jira and used to see what are the different projects that is going on, and people are working on what all features, and then I used to compare that. Okay, I'm not doing any one of them. So yeah, it's create a problem. It is create a self doubt. It just make you feel sometimes that okay, you are the work you are doing in your organization, you are comparing that work with the people who have already been doing that for a period of time. I think this thing you realize after some time that it's okay to basically feel like that, because this is the just the beginning, and you are comparing with the people who have been there, done that, right? So yeah, this is the thing. But what is the solution according to you? So it's been around 1 or 2 year in your organization. Do you still feel the same, or what do you think coding is the solution of this thing, or does the self doubt or the job insecurity still comes into your mind, or it's been?
Okay, so for this one, like, um, it's like it was 3 months, and like, if I just talk about my experience, it was just 3 months, and I was just going on thinking, okay, so 2 months of coding, and even though I was writing some components and just not making a complete page from scratch, so I just but just going in self doubt, self judgment, and all those sort of things. But luckily, I got the help from my senior. I just told him the problem. Okay, so this is the thing. These are the things um, like going through. I see your code. Like, there's an interesting story. There is our senior who has written a complete library. Okay, so in front end, and those contain all the forms button, which all the people on front end are using. Just I was like going crazy. So how is this? What this man is doing? How is he's so capable of? He has made his own library and just writing a comment. So, and luckily he onboarded me. So I just got in talk with him, and just asked him what's going through and how I'll be able to do this. I'm even facing issues with normal codes which I write. Just one thing is the story about his placement he told me, and that changed my view completely. He said that when I joined the company, like I was working on the Next.js over there. Okay, it's a part of React, and the senior who wrote the library, he said that when I joined the company, I just knew JavaScript, none of the framework like React or Next.js. And then I thought, okay, so I'm all so it feels like, okay, so I was already ahead of him. I just already knew React JS. And this person has joined the company, learned React JS, then Next.js, and then he has coded.
Right.
So the point was like the perseverance and the continuity is the thing. Like he made the efforts, and that's how he has reached that position. So that's what he made me understand. Okay, just be continuous, do what you are doing, take the feedback, from yourself, and just try to compare what you were working before, like 1 week before, and what you are working on. Just try to see the things, avoid repeating yourself. Don't repeat yourself. Like, if you write a code in half an hour, just try to be more efficient, write more code in that time. So those are the things which I got to know. So, and I totally feel the difference. I can now I can just write a complete page from scratch, and even multiple pages in a week. So that's what the company says.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, so here also I think it's totally okay to feel that thing initially, in initial days. It happens. It may be happening. It can happen with everyone. Maybe if you are having a very, if you have a very good sound background, you are coming from, you have very tons of work experiences in turn. You have done really contributed a lot. Still, there can be scenarios where you can have this kind of self doubt. I think it's totally okay to feel, but the thing is that you should actually continuously improve yourself, because at the end of the day, when you ask that are you improving or not, I think the belief, the self belief, come within yourself, and I think over the period of time you should learn, and this is what the journey I'm talking about. That. It's okay to have this kind of belief, but over the period of time you should able to basically evolve yourself in a way that you have removed those kind of self belief, and that happens when you keep improving yourself and keep working on the complex thing, and keep taking feedbacks. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is an interesting point. Okay, so the next point which I want to touch down in our discussion is this, right? We have heard a lot of stories about stress management in the software engineers, right? When before I joined the corporate world, there was scenario that okay, software engineers are have to deal with a lot of stress. Yeah, the stories of bug, servers getting crashed down, and all those stuff,
Yes.
right? Now my question is that, well, obviously we in the initial days of our life, I don't think that we write so much of code that can create a lot of stress. But yes, we can get into a scenario where we have to deal with the stress. So I want to ask this question that because stress is not something that comes from a one factor, that okay, you are breaking something. Rather, it can come from a
Yeah,
different, a lot of things, right? It can come from
obviously.
so my question is that in your I mean, in your whole 1 year of journey, have you felt stress, and if you have, basically how you have tried to handle it, and what are the challenges associated with that?
Okay, so I guess I can tell more than one instances of stress. Like, okay, and the point is when if you join a startup, this thing is prominent, and it's not that it's not you can talk about the work culture. That's not the point, because a startup is you're expected to deliver quality. You're expected to like improve yourself, because that's the point. Like the company, if you want to grow, the company has to grow, and that's the only thing you put put your efforts in. Okay?
Right.
And so we were working on a feature, like the feature was related to some and my industry is of logistics and automation, so they do logistics and automation. So we were supposed to deliver a project with a real time port data. So port data was basically the delay of ships we have. That's the point was. And we were working with 1 week with that, and the Friday was supposed to be the last day to make it live, and Friday was the last working day, and everyone was working hard so that they can avoid Saturday working, and like everything was going good till the 6 p.m. evening, and then we just decided to make it live on the production, and everything was tested and all going okay. As it went on production, live on production, the whole authentication started to fail. And we were just totally clueless. Like, it's the last day of the weekend, just waiting for the weekend. And it's like, okay, so you have gotten the bug. And so all the team were working this game, and I was lucky in this factor that everyone in my team supported. Okay, and then there was bugs, so it's not that a single person has to handle, everyone is there. So that's, I feel lucky about my company and my work culture. And with that being said, so it felt like we solved the bug. Although after 4 hours, it was basically 12 at night, and we just got to solve the bug, and we were working from the morning 10, and it got 12 night, and it's like it's that the responsibility we were taking. Okay, so I am responsible for the, and that's what it started creating stress. So I was thinking that I'm the person responsible, completely responsible here, that this was bug. I should have tested it. I should have tested it one more time. I could have avoided the bugs over here, all the bugs which I had. Uh, but the thing is that in 95% cases, if you're responsible for yourself, you can just save it. But it cannot be 100% that the scenario that you won't get a bug and everything will be working fine. Um, and even when you are working or delivering a new project, so that's for sure. So you just so I just got too stressed, and that the weekend was not. I was not feeling like weekend anymore. Like whatever I have went through, and next week I just like going through the stress and all those, and I just again the point is the point, like I just went to the net and like thinking what to do in this sort of scenario, how to just keep yourself calm. I talked to my senior again, because like he said, okay, if you want to communicate with anything, you can just tell anything more. And that's again related to the challenge of working from home,
Right.
the remote work. So that's again the point. That slips in that you are not communicating. So I told him that, okay, so I'm really sorry that happened. We could have it could have it could have break any other thing, and those things. So he just told me that just keep remember one thing. So if you are going to build something great, okay, if you are going to build something great and from scratch, you have to put continuous efforts, and that will break. That will break before it builds. So that's what he mentioned, and I was kind of thinking, okay, so it can be convincing for a product, but what for me? Like I was feeling responsible for that. I just told him, okay, so what could I do? I just think I'm the responsible. He said that see, if a team is a complete team is working, how can you feel that you are the responsible? Like,
Right,
it comes to whole team, right?
right,
That's the point. So these are the things that I just learned in time, and it got a bit easier. I won't say that I don't get the stress now, but it's a bit easier to deal with it. Like I've learned to deal with it.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
way.
this is totally relatable, and I can totally feel you actually. Yeah, so this is scenario. The first mistake is obviously because we are not used to of that, and we are thinking that okay, this is our mistake. How can this happen? But with time, we understand that okay, no matter how much try, things can break, and these things can happen. All we can do is to try not to repeat the mistakes and try to learn from it. But it's hard. It's during initial times, initial sometimes it's hard to make us believe that okay, you feel that you are responsible for everything and you are not. I mean, that feeling is bit a lot actually, and yeah, it will be pretty, it can get hard to basically face this kind of scenarios. But I do hope that yeah, with time you get more used to of handling this kind of scenario. We tend to make less mistake also, but yeah, the first mistakes in the initial stress time. I think the good thing about stress is that with time, the more stress you get used to of it, right? So the level of stress that you can handle keeps on increasing. So it becomes it's a challenge. I think it's a challenge at every level. But what I felt that the people with time there is no solution here, right? You cannot also escape from it. You cannot run away from it. Things are going to break. You are going to be stressed. You cannot write perfect code. You have to accept it, and you have to be through the journey. And with time, you learn how to handle it. Because when you see your seniors, we all see our seniors. They are much more calm than us, right? Because they have been there, right, done that, and gone through this journey. Yeah, that's a interesting. That's a very interesting discussion, right? Yeah. So now let's keep moving forward. The next thing that I want to talk about is basically having a proper communication, which you also touched about. Is that especially in the remote when we are working remote, there is a less communication happening because we are also we are not that much connected. We are actually connected with the maybe through Slack, maybe with the Zoom or the Gmeet, right? So communication when someone is sitting in front of you, you can directly communicate with them. It's easier to communicate, right? But especially when you're starting your career remotely, which I have also covered, what do you think is basically communication, and especially if you're kind of a person who doesn't communicate much. For an example, you have been allocated a work and you are not able to solve it, right? And that can lead to some really, stressful days for time for you, right? But how you gonna, how, I mean, how challenging it is at times to communicate properly with the organization, with the teams, and what are the factors that comes into the mind when you try to communicate and sometimes it stops you? I want to understand that if you can talk something about it.
Yeah, sure. Uh, See, the communication is like in a remote job, the communication is mostly the verbal communication. Right? And even if you're a video caller, the thing is like you just get to see the facial expression and the voice already. You can just and communication, I guess, is much more than that. Like if you're sitting on a person and he's talking with you face to face, you just body language is included in that, and you just get the tone of their voice. So it's and now on your if you're on your laptop and just doing the remote work, it's just like voices coming around and like you're sitting thinking, okay, these are the set of instructions that computer is saying me to do. That's what you feel any point of view. So I've got the instruction, I have noted it down, and then that's it. So uh, the communication is a bit becomes a formal. Like you just point things out, and it's okay for the work part. But the things like that has to bring like the what we call as someone is trying to teach us culture. You cannot teach culture on a Zoom meet or Google meet. I'm not just saying that cannot happen, but the communication, the things you want the person to understand, or you want him to like believe in your idea. You just have to talk in person. Like, if I say that okay, I'm going to help you. So the help also becomes related with this. So the only help he or she can just do is to like guide you. Okay, so do this, and he's not going to come to your system today. So let me try, let me interact what you are facing, or the only thing he can supply is the instruction. So that's what the things the remote person feels, and like even though you are not working with the colleagues, um, eating with them or having your meals with them, or maybe just hang out with your teammates. So that's what you learn more about the day as a person. It's and in the remote, it just like he's a manager or he's an HR. He's doing his job and I'm doing my job, and it's limited connection. And after some time, you feel that okay, so you already know what this person is doing to his check, and that's it. So that's you don't even consider him as a part. Like it just couple of teammates and colleagues are here, and you just tell them what's going with you, and the point is, there is one more interesting problem which arises with it. Like in order to increase the communication, what solution we came up with to have more meetings. Okay, so let's have more meetings on the top of other meetings and keep on solving the doubts. But that didn't help. Like, the point was not having less meetings. The point is that if you don't talk with that person face to face, you just getting bunch of words here and letters you just hearing, because you have never met someone, right?
Right.
It applies for any social site as it applies for this part, right? That's what you just think you are in a deal with him. You just do his work and just get paid, and that's all it remains.
Yeah,
That's what.
yes, I can understand. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's mostly. I think here, I think in this scenario, there's a lot more should come from the organization side also, because this is a very normal scenario. I mean, this is a very normal to feel, and if you're working remotely, I feel that yes, I mean, feeling as a part of the team, feeling as a one unit, or even feeling as you belongs here. You are not work. Basically, you are not. Doing a work. I mean, you're not associated with the organization just for you're doing something and you're getting paid for that. Rather than you should be linked to their what they are building. You should be linked with their thinking, their aim, what they want to achieve, what you want to achieve. You should have the alignment, and you belongs there, right? I think in that thing, I think it should actually come from more the top down up management, right? From management to the your PM to your EMs, when then that comes to your teammates. But yeah, that's a one problem that still persists in the organization. They are trying to deal with it, and we are facing this challenge. I think this should go keep going on until someone comes and everyone decided, okay, let us. And even just like that, your organization try to added more meetings. I think that's not a problem. I mean, that's not solve a problem, because I mean, it's a very interesting thing that we want to talk, we want to have a communication, but still we do not want to go into the Zoom meetings every time and have more meetings, because that's also can. So there is a very fine balance. I feel that having more informal in a week, more informal talks, yeah, can help a lot in that scenarios. Only having a one single meeting where you are with team wise, where only your teams are there, and then you are much more open towards them. You are having much more fun kind of activity that can help you to basically form that kind of culture. Yeah.
The thing is, like on the meetings, you don't ease with that person. The tensions remains the same. Like the tension is there. Like he's the manager. You just choose your word carefully. Like even if you just try to think of sentence, okay, I just have to plan what I'm going to say, but that's not how communication works. Like you can say something like which isn't mean to be. So you just keep on everything is planned. Okay, I will just talk this much amount, and okay, so 30 minutes are fixed. You cannot take more than 30 minutes, even though the topic you have just that. Okay, so it's going to be larger than 30 minutes. It may take 45 minutes, but that's not the scenario. Everyone has to run after that. So this things get wrapped up, and the communication is right. Yeah. That's one more thing. Yeah, I totally. Yeah, that is one problem I can feel. Yeah, having a basically limited number of times planned for the communication, a plan for the discussion can sometimes create problems. Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is one thing that is still there, and that's basically more of a responsibility that's come from the manager also, or from the upper. I mean, from other side also, that we should create a culture where there should not be basically for fresher or the people who have joined. They are new. There should not be the barrier of should I talk to this person, how much I should talk to person. So I think it's more of a
Obviously.
problem that comes from the other side. If the other side can make you feel comfortable, then I think you can be much more there. Yeah, and
Obviously.
yeah. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. So then tell me one thing. This is an interesting question. That now it's been around more than 1.5 or 2 years of you working as in this industry, right? If I ask you one thing, that if you have to tell something to you to your younger self when you joined the corporate world, what are the things that you want to tell to that person right now?
Um, okay, so obviously, so see, the point is key. Whatever beliefs you make, whatever think before joining the company. So the thing is, you should be like finding a mentor or any senior person who is already working and get some of the insight before you join the company.
Right.
That thing I just
Yeah.
missed on. I just talk to like how should I just get a job and how what I have to study. But the thing I lacked is um, how would I interact with someone if I go to company, and what's for the scenario? Like is that all work? Is that and even and it is the problem is more for the tech people, because if you are in other jobs, like let's say the managerial jobs or the sales job and the marketing jobs, the point is the communication. So that you have already done and you are already versed. Now being a tech guy who just sits alone and codes all the day, like it's feel like okay, so what to do now? Like you just jump in a company and you just don't know how to deliver things. And not about the code, you just obviously you are going to do the code, but think like you are not coding in order to pass some test cases or to run something. You should be knowing that okay, so there's a business idea, there's a business requirement, which which is ahead of your code. So there are lots of things functioning. There's a company which is running a business, and you're just a part of business who is supplying your who is helping with your code.
Right.
So these things have to be known, and I suppose that that's the one of the most important thing a person should know, that you should be fitting in the business economy. And that's also answered one more question. So if you are focusing on the business requirement, so we'll just focus on the part of things you want to do as a developer. You want to increase your knowledge in the technology, and technology is very fast, so very vast, right? And
Right.
it is increasing day by day. So you have to choose something. Okay, so if this technology can help the company business to grow, it can relate to, so for example, let's say you are just learning SEO, so that if your company has a public page, so you can just gain traffic for you, gain customers for your system, or you are just redesigning the UI so that you can fetch more clients, you can just increase your reach. So these things are the important things, like fulfilling in or meeting with the business requirements of the company, that I got to know when I joined the company. I guess that should be a more of insight which I before I would have joined. So I would really be in a better situation. Although it's good for now, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always the learning is always good thing. Making, I always say that there is always a cons and pros of everything. Maybe you learn this, that is a very good learning. If you have this knowledge, you might have perform. I mean, you might not have experienced something that you experience, which can make you maybe you can it can help you to help your fresher in your organization when someone joins in new. They are going through the process. You can help them more way. You can be sure that okay, this person should be. You can understand them much better because you have been through that thing, right? So yeah, I think that's it. We had a pretty good discussion. The one last question that I want to talk about, and which I really strongly believe one thing is that being a software developer, how much it is basically related to the knowledge, and how much it is related to your attitude, right? Yeah, that's I want to run because it's been more than now. It's been 2 years. How think? What do you think about this?
Okay. It is going to relate with the previous answer only. You get the point. You're a coder, so and the technology is changing day by day. So one thing is for sure that you have to be updating yourself with the tech stack. So suppose that whatever technology is your company is in, and with that being said, what are the plans for your company? What are you targeting a position? Now, if I'm just targeting position of engineering manager as to upskill myself, that's for sure. And if so, the target, whatever you set for yourself, will you need to cultivate the attitude for that. So there was the attitude points comes in. It's not just about coding things. It's if I keep on learning new things instead of working on my code quality or efficiency, like how am I delivering the code and all these things. So that thing I have to work, and that's what will come in attitude also. Like if I care about the testing before if I made my code to production. So that's second point. If I take responsibility for my team so that we have less bugs in our production, and that is again going to affect our business. So if we are writing good code, we are basically helping the company and like in its growth, right? So that's what. So you have to so you have to focus on your attitude also, like whatever you know. And with that being said, it can also the attitude can also be to maintain the culture, the team culture. So if you got to know about the solution, so you should be able to deliver with the team, and maybe you learn something new. So that should also be shared with the company. So that's what. So that's the point. Like if you target a position, okay. So in 2 years, I'm targeting that I want to be the manager or the team leader. That's what. And I was promoted to team lead for that team. I just so instead of keeping the work from myself, knowledge to myself, I just wanted to share with my complete team so that we all can grow. Because the growth of the you the person growth is related to the company. So the company is growing, just grow, and that's remove the insecurity part in you. Like you just see that okay, so we are getting plans day by day, and that's the point. So that's what tell attitude. You have to make this sync between the attitude and the tech stack. So that's what the point is.
Right, yeah. So yeah, thank you, Sudhandra. I think we had a pretty good discussion,
Yeah,
and
obviously,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, it's been a quite a time, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. I think so we had really quite a outcome, and so in our series, I think the next I'm going to have a basically maybe we'll try to have a basically podcast with a senior engineer, right? So it will be pretty interesting to know that how they have basically first I'm planning to basically ask all the things that I have faced and the output that I am getting from your challenges I will be facing that. Does they also face the same thing, and if yes, how they have solved it and how they have basically moved ahead in their career and basically how they have guided their path. So that's going to be an interesting one. Thank you for agreeing for having this podcast. It was really nice having you, and it was a pleasure talking to you. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.